Montero by Lil Nas X. 15 songs, 41 minutes long, and it's here, guys. It's here. So
Montero has been born, birthed alive. So I mean,
yeah,
let's
it's like
speed run Lil Nas X, shall we? Comes like blows up out of nowhere because his song Old Town Road, that's this mix of blend of country and trap music, goes viral on TikTok and then gets tied in with like people playing Red Dead Redemption at the same time. So it's just like viral upon viral upon viral. It becomes this big controversy because it's not country enough for trap. It's not like trap.
it's not
It's too
trappy
trap
enough
to
to
be.
be trapped.
It's no. It's like too trap to be country, and then too country to be trap, right? So,
Exactly.
um, that was solved by Billy Ray Cyrus jumping on the song. So like you couldn't not classify it as country and doing a remix version of that. But like every single successive version of this did really well. And so the thing was, okay, Lil Nas X, okay, cool. He's this like kind of avant-garde, really understands the internet kind of character, really visible for being a gay black man in a position where that's a really tough thing to do in rap music, especially. See the story of Gangstalicious, see DaBaby's unworked through therapy issues. But like the one hit wonder cloud was very much going over him. But then the 7 EP came out and we were very much impressed with even
I
that
thought
as
it was
well.
decent. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was good.
yeah, there are songs on there, and you definitely get. I think the 7 EP is a good kind of prelude
Because
to
like you
this.
have Panini and Panini Rodeo, and those songs are like will be played different random events or whatever. So you'll hear those.
Yeah, nearly as much as Old Town Road. I mean, like Old Town Road,
Yeah,
like it's not played anymore because like it's got overplayed, but like you'll still hear like Rodeo a lot. You're hearing Montero, like it's essentially song of the year, more or less. Like if we did a song of the summer, that probably would have been it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but like he's you can't call him a one hit wonder. He's at least got like and then
Four, 5.
four or 5 hits. Then it comes to the next step of can you do an album and make that interesting and keep time. And I'd say for like a first album project, he did a pretty good rollout where like he's kind of building this up. It's not bad, could definitely be better, and you get a lot of range there and a lot of things he's kind of trying, kind of more of a less rapping thing, more of a singing thing. And you can kind of see like the extent to his lyricism to what it is. Um, but sprinkled throughout it are some like decent pop tracks that are going to do like phenomenally well up naturally. Um
100%.
it's just that filler stuff that kind of like with Baby Keem last week, I'm like kind of iffy about, you know?
Yeah, well, Baby Keem is. I was talking to a bunch of people this week about Baby Keem. People were asking me what I thought, and it's almost the same. I think in Montero, there's a lot of stuff in here I think is genuinely good, and is like I can easily listen to it for a while. And there's other stuff in there where I just do not like it at all. So Montero, maybe not as much as I do not like it, but there's a lot of filler on it where it's just he. This is where you as a up and coming big artist, where you can suffer from having too much overproduction by people on a record, on like your first big record or whatnot. There's a lot of like tracks and stuff that are just there. You could tell they're really meant to try and be big pop hits, try to be the big money getters and everything, and they don't feel as genuine. And there's other tracks in here that do feel really genuine and everything with it. Um, Except like the best of both worlds, obviously, is the title track Montero, the opening track on the album. It's got the best of both worlds, where it's easily listenable to. It's a good pop track. Like, people can bop it all over the place, and it's already had a pretty big success on it already. Sets up the album, but kind of for like a good theme and everything, and what you're gonna hear for the rest of the record. Um, you have like the beginning of the album I thought was pretty decent. The second ladder of the album I thought got a little bit of filler here or there. Some of the features I thought were good, and some of the features were kind of misses, but we'll get to that in a second.
Definitely.
Uh,
I'll say
yeah,
yeah, album's front loaded. It's very
for
much
sure.
just trying to get as much pop as we can. And for what it's worth, like there's a way to do like pop trap. Like Migos did pop trap with Culture 2, where you're kind of just I mean, I'll give Culture 2 this. There because the production they had there, you had a good amount of range where like
Yeah,
it was trap, but like it was definitely like moving forward. Thankfully, because of like mistakes of Culture 2 and like other artists who didn't do that well, where like they release albums where like every single song is the same trap beat, even a genre that gets very repetitive very quickly, unfortunately. You get a little bit of range here, but you get a lot of like interesting things. Like there's some songs with like steel drums. There's some songs that feel a little
Hmm.
bit more like tropical or like dancey. Some songs like they just like have kind of like a almost like a Caribbean feel to them almost. Like it's definitely Lil Nas X, at least in Montero here, is trying to cultivate or at least figure out what the sound will be like for his album, let alone like other
Yes.
things. He very much wants to continue the kind of Old Town Road tradition. He didn't produce that song. He bought it off of like one of those like sites for $20 and ended up like blowing up. But he wanted to, like blend guitar and acoustic things with trap. And you see that in a lot of songs in here as well. Going through like Dead Right Now, Industry Baby with Jack Harlow, which we held our tongues talking about because it's a pretty good song.
I
Um
really like it. I laugh about it sometimes because the horns in it remind me of RuneScape. If you ever played RuneScape, it's like the fat horns and trap beat is just hilarious to me. But honestly, like Jack Harlow's a feature. It worked out. It's that I thought was a really good track, especially at the beginning of the album. And um, some of it after, like you have "This Is What I Want," which is like more of that like pop, like real pop sound where you have like a center guitar on it, like electro beats and everything. That everything is pretty standard on that track, and that's like that track is where I get a little bit disappointed here. I'm like, oh, okay, it's good where it gives you a range for sure, but at the same time, I go, okay, I've heard stuff like this.
Yeah, like if you've heard any like alternative song or like
Just like
anything that's
similar to
been played at
Olivia
Warped
Rodrigo's
Tour ever, yeah,
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 that
it's extreme poppy. You go to Scoop with Doja Cat, which this feels like one of those songs that's like trying really, really hard to be poppy, even though I think Lil Nas X and Doja Cat's performances in the song are pretty good. I just feel like they're just like ticking all the boxes for how do you make a pop song. Okay, do the Scoop thing, so it's like a little sound that people get catchy and it's a hook thing. Like some parts of it
see, I,
feel too formulaic.
I did not like Doja Cat part at all.
Hmm.
It sounded like she was trying to be Nicki Minaj and with her voice and did not work well at all. I liked Lil Nas X's part in it, but Doja was not good. Like her vocals were too overbearing, at least for me, for the track.
To me, like because I sort of like a lot of the female rappers who do like funny things with their voices, Rico Nasty, for example. I guess that
Or
didn't
that's
bother
was
me.
hard.
Yeah, it didn't bother me that much. But definitely like I don't know, like Doja Cat's still like warming off of probation, I guess, with me.
Extreme probation.
But like it wasn't like it's like 3.6 rank in that one. But then you get to like One of Me with Elton John. Like Elton John's part sort of like barely there. You're not even that big of an Elton John fan, but like I just even thought this song was a little lackluster as well. Even though unfortunately like it's a really good opportunity, like a lot of these songs are, for Lil Nas X to again, not lyrically that great, but still go into like really deep personal like places with his like
Yeah,
personality,
sure.
his life story, and like expose that really well on a song. Like this sounds really good for like someone who's constantly trolling all the time and talking about these other things. Like this is a real person here talking. So that's really good to see that vulnerability there from Lil Nas X, which
Yes.
he's good at showing. But even telling it in the songs seemed well. It just seemed like some of those songs didn't fully like live up to that like need that they needed to do, right? Like these songs needed to like perform in this album, right? And then once you get like down Dollar Sign Slime with Meg the Stallion's like fine or whatever, but down like
It's
towards
just
Sun Goes Down, Void, it's like these
that's
songs,
where it gets fillery to me.
yeah.
They're
It's
okay, but it's at that point I'm like, if you cut part of those tracks out, or you do something a little bit different with them, or possibly make like Void shorter or something, then it wouldn't feel as bad. But to me, that's where it started to get a little bit long with it.
yeah, it was just sort of too slow. It didn't really feel like it had a place or a point
Yeah,
to where it
exactly.
was going. And yeah, that's kind of
Especially
like one,
compared to the top off of the album.
yeah. It's definitely one of the more like disappointing parts of it. But that's kind of the thing is it is almost like a typical first pop effort where like okay people are really excited about this kid, let's give them a lot of this kid in the beginning. They love all the songs in the beginning so much they won't even remember that oh the rest of the album is just kind of trash or whatever. And a lot of like first bands do this. I mean like we can get real and say like this isn't something that they were trying to do, but like when Radiohead became hot shit, people were like, oh, okay, there's Creep, but then some people just didn't like the rest of the album. Same with Gorillaz. They expected everything to be Clint Eastwood, and they're like, what the fuck is this dub shit? Like, these things had
The
to
hell's
be,
5-4? The hell's
yeah,
M1A1? Like what?
Yeah, these things had to kind of grow and sort of be their own thing for that
Yeah.
fan base and make sense. But I don't even know if some of the songs like near the end have that power. It's fine because like Lil Nas X can just bank on the fact that he's got 3, 4, 5 more like hits out of this joint. But like it's as an artist, which I'm always going to like. Listen, Lil Nas X is masterful with being a troll and masterful with using
Yeah,
media
exactly.
marketing.
And
Like
being
he's
yes.
doing everything Kanye West thinks he's doing, but like he's actually being really subversive and actually like being really clever about it. But at the end of the day, we're reviewing music here, and like I'm gonna talk about like Lil Nas X as a musician, and I don't know if I should have ever had the expectation that like, oh, Lil Nas X has bars, because no, he never really did. Or that he has like a particular like musical sort of like panache to it that's very like unique. He knows how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like get this kind of pop thing. He's surrounding himself with people who can do pop things, and yeah, he's turning himself into a brand really well. But that's the brand, like a lot of these artists, like it ultimately happens right now. The brand and that marketing is a lot more substance than the music. The songs that are there, they're pop, they're fine, but the music is not quite up to what like the fame that Lil Nas X has. And I think it can get there.
Not for a full album.
Definitely
There's
not.
tracks that are, but not for a full record. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah. I think if this were 30 minutes, this could have even been a little bit better, but like there's there's clearly filler here, bro. And like
Yeah,
your Lil Nas X, you don't need to like make an album full of filler for stream reasons, right? Like
yeah.
you're
Like
good on
you got
streams, you're good on
you got
plays.
plenty of cash. You're good. Take your time, dude, and do some art.
Yeah. Um
Anyways, arbitrary scale this week, as we always do arbitrary scales for every single music review we do, because music reviews don't make sense, so we make arbitrary scale that doesn't make sense. And this week, going on our Nicki Minaj story, is bad excuses for STDs is our arbitrary scale. Uh, I'm gonna be one of the worst arbitrary scales. But last
The-
week's was bad, but this week is bad too.
I'm giving the Montero sorry a rock fell on it. I don't know.
I'm giving Montero a um. Oh, that's just razor burn.
Oh,
I don't think we can do this, dude.
this is Audioface is a show about morals. So